Now, I understand exactly what you're talking about with the Black Ministerial Alliance and the Black Church, period. We are all for ourselves, and everybody's looking out for my people, my church. I'm trying to build me a mega church, and you can't do this, you can't do that. The way we settle our disputes amongst the people and amongst the deacons and the administration of the church, there is a formula in the Bible that tells us how we should do that. But we're not doing that. We're just like these gangbangers, settling with guns and knives and cursing, and we have the police to settle our disputes when it should be settled amongst us. This fed right down to where this guy is. Now that 17-year-old kid is out there with nobody because we weren't friendly to him. And if that kid goes out and gets involved, what's going to happen to him? He's going to be just like the rest of these kids. Now, let's talk about how we're going to do it. You got,
you know, I'm sort of like Redmond about the ministers, you know. They should actually, every Sunday, it really wouldn't hurt them to get up and talk about the kids 5 or 10 minutes. Take the 20 minutes away from talking about the plate, talk about the kids. What's the problem? Meet the kids. Sometimes I think the gangs are better organized than the church. Sometimes I think they're better organized.
Right.
When the church is meeting over here, try to say something about them, they're meeting over here too. So they're going to have to come out of that pulpit and get with these kids. It is the only way. As long as they're sitting up patting each other on the back and talking to each other, doctor this, doctor that, that's not going to work. You got to talk to the kids, and you got to talk to them on a level. You can't talk down to them. If you talk down to a gang leader, he's a leader, just like the pastor leads of a church.
right.
That gang member is a leader of that gang. You
That's
can't
right.
talk down to him like he's nothing. Right off the bat, he's going to get on the defense.
Okay, so the kids get involved in these gangs because they got camaraderie amongst themselves.
That's right.
They can build relationships. The church don't build that with the youth.
No.
And so this is why, well, okay, what are we gonna do?
Well, for some of these kids,
Like I said, the pastor should get up every Sunday and talk about them kids. It's not going to take that much out of them to talk 5 or 10 minutes about the kids. What can we do about it? We should go out. How many pastors you know that came out the pulpit and walked the streets, talked to their gang members?
Oh, after shooting.
well, it used to be one, but
But
he
shooting
dead.
is not going, you know,
Well, I mean,
that's
yeah.
going to happen. The only way they're going to stop it is get with these kids and talk to them, try to find out what the problem is. No matter who you are, you want to belong to a group, somewhere, somebody, or something.
Okay,
That's human nature.
right.
So these kids, maybe nobody said anything to them, anything. Maybe they met a guy in the gang, he talked to them. That's a family. That's a family for them.
Yeah,
You know?
right.
So that's why I said, you know, they need to talk to the kids' parents, ask them about their kids, this and that, you know.
Well, the whole family structure is broken down, and when the family is broken down, the church is broken down, then you got a society where everybody does what's right in their own heart. And the name of the game is survival of the fittest. And where we all come from, we come here by ourselves, but it's going to take everybody and his brother to help us maintain a certain status. And everybody's got to come to each other's aid and work with each other rather than trying to outdo one another. So what the church needs to do is try to get the people together, but the leadership is corrupt.
You don't have any leadership.
Well, then what are you going to do?
If 3 of us pastors sat here, we couldn't have a leadership because I want to be a leader, you want to be a leader, I want to be top dog.
3 heads.
You can't have a bunch of people and no leader. That's just Indian chief. If he haven't got any Indians, what is he chief over? He's chief over nothing.
Yeah.
So some people have to be Indians, some have to be leader. We don't have a leader. Where have we got a leader? You got a leader in this church, this church, this church, this church, this church, all of them.
Well, one thing, we got too many churches in the same block, and nobody's doing anything.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
thinking about the bottom line, which is money.
And it's just like, you know, when I tried to find out about the landfill, I actually asked the minister, sitting there talking to him down the links one day. I said, you know, you guys got that almost $400,000, you know, from the landfill. I said, what'd you do with that? You know what his answer was? I don't want to talk about it. I said, I guess not. I said, probably money went in your pocket. I said, so I didn't see anything in the community anybody did.
Well, who appointed the Ministerial Alliance to take that money and divvy it out to?
The people out at the landfill, I guess they decided to give them that money. The Minister Allowance is set up. If you give them $1 million, do you know who they have to answer to for that when they spend that money? Nobody. They can take that $1 million, put it in their pocket. They don't have to answer to nobody. Okay, the landfill they gave New Haven, I think, 200-some thousand. New Haven had to account for every penny they spent. So I talked to a guy on the talk show.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, they was talking about it. So I called up to ask some information. He said, well, I got information on it. He said the Ministerial Allowance is set up where when they get money, they don't have to answer to anybody about how they spent it or what they did with it. So the last thing I can figure, they stole it. Because I haven't saw anything in the community they did. They could have, if they would have just had, you know, big picnic for the kids, anything.
Now, you go back
almost
to
$400,000.
You go back
something
to
should show up somewhere.
But if you go back to the people that gave them the money and they wrote it off of their taxes, who is responsible or accountable for the money that they gave?
What did I just say?
Well, okay.
Ministerial Allowance don't have to account to nobody for that money. That's the way they're set up.
So then that Ministerial Allowance should be investigated.
You gonna investigate your own self?
No, not them. I'm talking about the people that the money
The people underneath them in the church should get on Ministerial Allowance, talk to their preacher and say, where did this money go? What did you spend it on? What did you do in the community? Everyone in each one of the churches in Fort Wayne, the people should have asked the minister that if he was in that Ministerial Allowance. I haven't heard anyone say they got any information on that.
Well, there was a councilman on city council that asked a question about that money.
What answer did he get?
He didn't get any.
Thank you.
Okay, now, this is what I'm saying, so pressure should come to bear on the Ministerial Alliance to come and be transparent, find out what's up, because when our kids see the stuff that they're doing, they're no better than the kids or the gangs. The gangs is out there robbing and stealing with guns and doing their thing, so if we're gonna try to keep the other kids from doing that, and the very heart and soul of our community is the family and the church.
Well, that's why I said the minister should get on every Sunday, get up and spend 5 or 10 minutes talking to the parents as they are about their kids and talking to the kids there. You know,
yeah.
It's not going to take
that
much time out of their sermon.
We should stop talking and do some work.
Well, that's why I said they should ask their pastor, you know, like the money, where did it go?
Yeah.
If they don't get any answer, then it should be something done about it. But see, they put them on a pedestal, and after they're running things so long their way, if you get up and say it's wrong,
they put you out of the church.
It's not wrong because we've been doing it this way all the time. That don't make it right because you've been doing it this way all the time. That don't make it right.
Okay.
But you know, that's why I say the congregation has the authority, really in the way they had authority of the preacher.
Well, okay, what do you think? What do you think of this now? I hear that some gang members that got killed or whatever was involved, and they went to the church to get their funeral, and the minister said, we can't do it because she was in a gang. Now, who did Jesus come to? He didn't come to the rich or the big time. He come to us. And that's what I'm saying. We lead by example, and if we're going to allow the church to do what they're doing in the community, what good is any other volunteer work or any other stuff you try to do?
And you know, the really bad part about it, we've got some good pastors here, but the other ones make it bad on the ones that's trying to do right. They got a circle. If you're not in that circle, you're going to be blackballed.
So that's the same thing about discrimination, you know?
That's right.
Talk about the white man, they wouldn't give us this.
That's right.
We got to get our own self first.
You got some of your pastors together, a new pastor come in. Well, this is the way we're going to do it. He said, well, that's wrong. Bam, he's out. He's blackballed.
Well, that's, you all have just described how the Willie Lynch prophecy works. I mean, that's exactly how it works. But Jim, you know, how do you feel about that? I mean, putting faith and hope and trust in the pastors to lead us out of this, is that dangerous, or can they do the job?
No. They could do it if they wanted to. If they don't want to, it's gonna interfere with their bottom line, which is money. Now, if you recall, Jesse White used to get out there online. Liz Dobanez used to get out there online. But it wasn't all about money. Now it's about money. Now, instead of having revivals to raise some money for the preacher, raise that money to do some good in the community. Because that's what revival's all about, is money. But two people, the host minister and the guest minister, and they exchange visits. Now, we got problems right here in our judicial system. Nobody even addresses that. Even at the county jail, where you have to spend money to put money on somebody's account, and that money gonna go right to the commissary. Now, the person who's incarcerated, they don't spend the money. It's whoever put it on the book. So they are exploiting us more ways than one. And when you go before the judge, what do you think he's gonna do? You got a lot of people in jail that shouldn't be in jail, and some that's walking the street that should be in jail. But now, is anybody speaking about this? I mean, from the church? All the churches is thinking about is the bottom line on Sunday. Now, I know I'll get a lot of flack about that, but it's the facts. If it wasn't the facts, why do we have so many storefront churches next door to each other? Some of them have 3 members. Some of them have family members. Now, why can't they join a church? The reason is they can't be in charge. They want to be the, for lack of a better term, they want to be the big chief in charge. Now, otherwise, if they want to do something in the community, they can do it. If Jesse White did it, got things done, they could do it too.
But that was a different time, and he was from a certain era that was, he was behaviorally conditioned in a certain way. The guys today, I mean, like, you all have a few years longer on earth than I have, and I can look back over 50 years, and in 50 years' time, blacks here in Fort Wayne, there's nothing denoting anything that blacks have done. I mean, no one has a statue, but I'm talking about anything, any landmark. Blacks have never come together to do anything, and sometimes people think that when there's a crisis going on, you always run to the pastors or to the churches to get the churches to do these things, and no matter who has gone to the churches to get certain things done, the results tend to be the same. It doesn't get done, but yet we keep running to the church to get, now maybe at some point they will unify behind an idea and do something, so therefore it's not a total waste of time of asking the pastors, because at some point in time they might agree to do something. But in the meantime, when you're going to talk with them about these problems and you see that there's never any result, that they don't do anything, are we fooling ourselves?
I don't think we go about, like this is marching. Marching is all right, but marching, it accomplishes something, but the way to accomplish something is get in their pocket. I'll give you a perfect example. He was trying to stop them from building that service station right there on, was it McKinney and Hessen Castle? They marched, they did this, they did that. Didn't do any good. If they didn't want the service station there, all they have to do, let them build a service station. Don't go in there.